One. All right. Hello, everybody. Today is the Strictly Plumbers Millionaire podcast. We're talking to Taylor's from Taylor's Plumbing Solution. And we're going to talk about how he's running a shop doing 1.7 million as of last year. So today we're going to have some very specific questions. He's got a background picture of a crawl space and a job that he did. But anyways, just want to let you introduce yourself here, Mr. Taylor.
Oh yeah, I am William, Taylor's Plumbing Solutions. We are in a city called Lake Stevens, Washington State. We've been in business. This is our going on 5th year now. You want me to talk about when I started and all that?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah. I'll just ask you the question, like, so what year did you start your business? And then how long did it take for you to make like your first $1 million?
I started my business 5 years ago. It took the first 2 years we were close and it was just only me in the van. So I started getting employees, started branching out, and the 3rd year we hit the $1 million mark.
Nice. Very cool. 3 years. And did you do plumbing? And how long did you plumb before you owned your business?
I've been plumbing for 18 years now.
Wow. So 15 years out working for somebody else. And then the last 3 years, you cracked $1 million. That's amazing.
It's part, a lot of hard work on my part, really good speed. Good training from other companies. If you go to the bigger companies, they have good training, good sales training, good software recognition that you get to learn. So I owe a lot of credit to them. I also owe a lot of credit to them because I want to run my business a certain way, and you pick up things from owners and bosses that you don't want to treat your employees like. So
I hear you on that one. You got to build that culture. So what is one of the best practices that you feel that allowed you to make your first $1 million?
Community, getting out there in our community of Lake Stevens. There's 3 major towns around here, and what we did is, we would join like the Chamber of Commerce for those cities. We would get into a networking group. I got really lucky to get into a really good networking group.
Nice.
It wasn't anything like the nationwide ones. It was a local group to our community. They spread the word. It was able to branch off from there. The chamber meetings, the spotlights that you have to do in those chamber meetings really get you tuned up to go out there and sell your brand, sell your material. So
nice. That's awesome. So we're talking about and that's great. I love it. It's great advice. What do you feel like? The next question is, what is one of the things that held you back from making your first $1 million?
I think that was family. You got to spend time with your family. You can't be working all the time, right? So there's give and take. You can go out there and work as hard as you want for 10-hour days, but in the end, you still have to make time. You still have to find time for your wife, for your kids. I guess getting the employees helped. That's the major thing right there. You don't want to end up in, which a lot of plumbers and electricians do, or end up in divorce because they're working so much.
It's so common. And I was almost there because of the business too. So one thing that I did to help myself is I scheduled everything. I schedule my time that I work out in the mornings. That's the normal one, but I also schedule time with my family. I treat it like an appointment. like what I'll do is I'll schedule every day, nothing less than 15 minutes with one-on-one with, I got 2 daughters and 1 wife, right? So one-on-one with the first one, the second one, and then mom, and then as a group. And I usually, like, you know, they're young, they're 8 and 6, my girls. So I usually, like, their attention span is only so long, right? So after they're booked, they're gone somewhere else after so many minutes, and they're satisfied. And so am I, right? But like, I mean, hardcore one-on-one, not just like, hey, let's go for a walk or go to the park for an hour. I mean, like a good conversation one-on-one where you're learning about each other like that, you know? And I actually schedule it into my calendar and I treat it like an appointment. So when I get out of work and I work from home, the first thing I do is take a break. I need my break, you know, and then because I don't want to go straight into family and then I still got my day on me. So I take my moment. And then that's kind of how I work it out. And it's been, I'm able to do it. And then recently I started taking my kids to school, and that's been a blessing. That's amazing. That's something I never got to do, plumbing, most of my adult life. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there. I recently, well, it's been about a year. COVID, actually, when COVID started, you know, I had to stay home, and that's when we got our real first full-time employee, is because of COVID. And
Wow.
he's a whole different story. That employee, and he's disgruntled right now, but we can go into that some other time. If you want to have me back,
Yeah.
we can have a whole discussion on that one.
We're talking crap about all of them. It's all good. No, I'm kidding.
We started, yeah. So COVID, had to stay home. We got super busy because other people were staying home, finding issues with their houses or whatever. So we got lucky through that. And then after that, you know, hiring 2 more employees and then another one. And then about a year ago is when I really just took my van to my shop, left it there, don't take it home anymore. And now I get to, in the mornings, drive the youngest one to school. You know, I make breakfast every morning, fucking egg sandwiches and sausage and sandwiches for the other 2 kids. And it's pretty amazing, man. I just get to, yeah, I get to be that parent. You know, we can all talk about our parents and not really having any, but I get to be that parent that I never really had. And it's nothing against my parents. They didn't have the opportunity, or they didn't make the money that I made. You know, there's that whole jealousy thing where you're making more money than your dad, and he starts telling you that he's all jealous and pissed off.
Yeah,
Feels good though, man.
yeah. No, I'm so glad you're touching base on that. I grew up without my dad, and so like to piggyback on that, me trying to be the dad that I didn't have, piggybacking on what you said, whether you got him and he wasn't as effective as you needed him, or maybe he's just gone, right? And then you got to learn how to do shit your way, right? And so I think I think your gratitude gauge is probably really high right now, right? You're probably super grateful for this stuff.
Absolutely. And we were talking off air, like I don't spend any money for that reason. You know, there's things that I want, you know, a nicer boat. I have a boat, but I want a nicer one. You know, a side by side or a couple of them. I don't I have that money. I just don't pull the trigger on it. There's always something that's gonna come down the pipe.
Yeah,
You know?
that's sounds like you're a good saver and a good investor into your own business. And I did that. Like the first 2 years, I didn't want to spend nothing in my business outside. Like I just wanted to reinvest everything. I have actually bought my first home after my business. You know, I didn't own a home when I was an employee as a plumber. And so, yeah, that's a little bit of my story. My next question for you is, what are you doing now to hit your next million, and what would that amount be?
3 million would be nice. What am I doing now? We are always looking for skilled plumbers that are going to fit. They have to fit. They have to fit with us. We're not a commission-based shop. We pay hourly. Some guys like it, some guys don't. You know, you can make a lot of money in commission, but we think that the competition, there's jealousy factors within the employees, there's bonuses. It's a harder way to pay people. You gotta have a bookkeeper and spend more money in there. So we need somebody that's going to come in and just want to get paid hourly, get their own van, get to bring it home, treat it as their own little business. And I think that finding the right guy will help with that, or two guys.
That's such a good point. I learned something from a friend of mine that owns a Chick-fil-A, because they got like, man, it's like an ant farm in there. They got like 20 people making one burger. It's amazing, right? So I asked him a question like, how do you hire, bro? How do you know? Tell me some of your best practices. And he says, and you touch base on one of them. But there's the 3 C's is what I learned from him. And so when we're always looking to see if people are capable. And that's the first C. Hey, can you do what I need you to do? Right. And then like, we want to give them an opportunity. But the other C is what you just mentioned is culture, right? Will this person fit the culture of my business, or are they going to clash with the culture? They got to fit. And then the third C is character.
That's that employee I was telling you about.
Oh, gotcha.
And character, and go with character too.
Yeah, character is, will they do the right thing when nobody is looking? You know what I'm saying? And if you could say yes to all 3, then there may be an opportunity. But if just one is questionable, then that person is totally questionable. And
we held on to that guy because he was capable, but his culture and his character it just got worse. That's what I want to say. Like we buy the motherfucker a truck. We did a lot for this guy, and we treated him really well. We paid him good, and he just couldn't change his attitude.
These prima donnas get worse by the time, bro.
My wife didn't like the fact that his old employer that I had a conversation with called him a prima donna, and we had to have him. Like I said, man, it was COVID. We had to have somebody go out there for me, and we ended up with him for 2 years. And
wow,
yeah, it just got to a point where we couldn't see eye to eye.
Gotcha. This may into your next question is what do you feel your plumbing business needs a little bit more help with at this moment?
Gosh, we're running it so damn good. We really are, man. It's right now there's nothing but upside potential. So much so where I'm thinking, I need a new business to start. Nice. Something that's not plumbing related. Let's see. I always have ideas for inventions. How can we make the plumbing industry better? I don't know. You've probably had those thoughts too, and pick that stuff up. But like putting it in your head and putting it down on a table are completely different. Like, manufacturing something is so hard to do. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start. But back to your question, what do I need? Okay. One thing that we did need that we recently picked up is that my wife, who's in the office, doesn't have to do payroll anymore. So we sent it off to a bookkeeper of ours that's in our networking group. So he's going to start taking that over.
Nice.
So then one other idea that I have is our senior plumber now, senior apprentice now. We went ahead and made him into sort of a hybrid where he can go out to Chamber of Commerce meetings and stuff for us and kind of be a personal assistant. When I can't take one of the kids to school, when we have meetings or something in the morning, he comes by, he picks up the kid, he drives him to school for us, and then he goes on with his day. So looking for wanting him to grow into that position would probably be the best thing for us. If he can't do it, we're gonna have to find somebody else that can. You know, we're not going to get rid of him, but we're going to have to look for somebody that could, where he can go back into straight plumbing, and then we can find somebody that's capable of that.
Fill the
And
role. Yeah.
build a role. It'd have to be a young go-getter guy. You know, somebody that's sort of mature too. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that'll put us over the top of where we want to be.
That's
That
all.
and raising our prices.
Yeah. Everybody's been raising their prices. It's a trip. The next question is like, what is your exit strategy and what is your timeline for that?
It's already started, I think.
That's right, baby.
Already started, man.
By the way,
there's always talk on between me and Jessica about, you know, who's gonna step up, which one of our guys is gonna step up and want to take the role of leader, who wants to answer the phone. I answer the phone. I do all the scheduling and the estimates and everything. Who's gonna want to take that phone, answer it, be able to schedule, get the tax rates right on the jobs, and be able to dispatch and take calls from the techs, you know, hey, I got this problem. So we need somebody to be able to think about what how to solve that problem instantly, like I can. So
sweet.
that I think that would be my exit strategy. Somebody to take over. I still have a small role, but not answering the phones, you know, answer a text here and there.
So you
doing
still
something else.
You still want to own it. And let's say because we're young right now. How old are you, by the way?
40.
Okay, great. Awesome, brother. I'm 39. I'll be 40 next month. I'm 83. Are you 83 or 82?
82.
Sweet. Okay, right on, brother. So my next question is, like, as far as your exit or to piggyback on this question is, what would be your exit strategy? Do you want to own the business forever and ever until you die? Would it get passed on to your family? Would you sell it to employees or investors? Like, what do you think you want to do in the future?
I think I'm not a big guy to look into the future, so it's a hard question for me to answer. I'm always living in the moment. I'm thinking the employees would buy it. I think that they would either buy it outright or they would keep me on as a
Advisor.
yeah. I mean, outright would be good though.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I just cannot answer that question. It's
Yeah.
I mean, you're still getting paid if you own a little bit of it, even though it's not a lot. It's money being generated, and I have a good retirement fund that I dump a lot of money into.
Nice.
So, you know, that's always good. I think that would be it though. The employees would take it over in some way.
Sweet.
The kids, I don't know if they're interested. They may be interested, and then we'll have to change the exit strategy a little bit.
Yeah.
They do want to, you know, they do want to. The older one, he's almost 16, and he would want to start going to work with me, but I don't really go to work anymore. That's the thing. So I could send him out with my guys, and they can train him up.
True. And then teach him how to be a manager in the future. Me and my cousin started at 16. I started at 19, and I saw him going through like in the summertime and, you know, working with his dad. And that's actually how I got a plumbing job, because I saw my uncle and my cousin since we were younger. You know, he raised a family basically since 1981. He was working there. And so I came around in 2003 to get hired at the same company he was hired at. But anyways, so how do you, earlier I asked, like, how do you spend your money? Any hobbies? It sounds like you like to reinvest into your business. Tell us a little bit about your mindset and, how do you spend your money these days?
Very little spending going on. I golf every once in a while. I try to go golfing as much as I can.
Right on.
That's an expensive sport.
Yeah.
trips. I guess trips would, getting out there, getting out in the world, country for now, world. I just applied for my passport for the first time in my life. I'm able to, that's a whole nother story too, man. I lost all my rights as a younger guy. Just got them all back and happy as hell for all that. Yeah, I went out and just bought my first handgun and just got it today.
Nice.
So, I think that's why I am in such a good mood that everything's working out. It's like it's been like I don't know, it's been like this for a while that I've been in a good mood. Due to being married to somebody that's so cool. I've had a divorce and found somebody that's more on my level, not all the time, but most of the time. So
That's cool.
But spending money, like I said, I pay cash for everything, so I don't like payments, and I don't like to do it. I don't know. Thinking about getting a side by side. I guess that would be a fun thing to do, because there's a lot of places to go around here, and yeah.
They're amazing. I don't own one yet. I've rented them. My buddy's got them. I do love to 4x4. I have a Hummer and a truck and a quad. I love me a side by side. It's on my list soon. And I think it's gonna be really hard to put a frown on your face on that side by side, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like they say that about jet skis, right? I think it's
Yeah.
a comedian that said that shit. It's just so funny. But William, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with, hang out with us and tell us your story. I got one more question, bro. I want to hear your story, like the core part, like, because we all come from somewhere, and some of us were born in wealth, and some of us were not. Right? I was not. Tell us a little. Let's wrap this up with your story, bro. Like, where did you come from, and where are you at now?
Yeah, no, not born in wealth in any way. Not really. Just a lower middle class family. Mom and dad divorced, right? So that happened. So then living with my mom. Got a good work ethic from her though, so that's a bonus. She'd be thrilled to hear that. I don't have a lot of good things to say about her, but that I can say, you know. I think I got lucky in wasn't really good in school, D+ student, so didn't really graduate or anything, got my GED. But then after that, got lucky in what type of work I went into. Are you Spanish?
I
Mexican?
speak Spanish. Yeah, I'm Mexican. I speak Spanish. My
Okay.
family, and I was born in
I'm
San Diego.
not. Hope this isn't bad, but I went into a job where there was a bunch of Mexicans working, right? So
Yeah.
they work super hard, and they became really friendly, man. We had such good camaraderie, and they showed me the way. One piece of advice he gave me, Carlos, is that okay, we're working, we're driving on our way home. I'm still talking about work. Young guy, he's like, don't talk about work anymore. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. That follows me now, that especially if you have a family, man, you don't want to go in there and start spouting off about, oh, this jerk over here did this, or so after that job, went into landscaping for a little bit, got to run a crew in that, so I got a little taste of what it's like to, little managerial skills. Landscaping was fun. And then my buddy got a job at a plumbing company, and he was the office or warehouse guy. And so I decided to just join with him. And then I got to go on the plumbing side of it, get trained up by a guy doing trim, new construction. And it was a pretty big company here, and they're still rolling pretty good. Learning trim really quick, learning how to troubleshoot things. That was the best plumbing thing. That's advice that I give young guys is, hey, sometimes you can't go right into service, man. You got to go into new construction and learn the ins and outs of it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I got into a van real quick there. I swear it was like a month of training and that's it. And then all of a sudden they put me out on my own, building sinks, putting in water heaters, full houses, trimming. And I got really fast at that, fastest in the company. I knew I wouldn't go any place in that company because they already had guys that were going to be there, that were there and were going to stay there. And so went on to do service work. And then after that, got lucky selling my card to another company. I don't know if you've heard of that, where you can sell your plumbing license to another company so that they can do other work. So I was getting good money for that while working at another company. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So I walked off that job because I don't know, there was like a fire suppression. There was a piece of PEX for testing still hanging out of the freaking ceiling. And, it's a commission or it's a piecework job. And I don't want to have to spend 2 hours trying to track down the fire suppression equipment to take it out. So I was just like, I'm done. I'm out of here. So I quit. And then I started my own business. We started with 10 grand to put into the business. I had all the tools, had good accounts already because I've been in this industry, so with the supply houses and stuff. We didn't really need much. I traded work for a van. We got a van.
Nice.
There. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good barter. I love those.
Went out, yeah. Me and Jessica were rolling down the road, saw a car dealership, and we were like, hey, let's just look at cars. I was looking at Durango SRTs.
Nice.
I've always wanted one. I did end up purchasing one, but later. But there was a ProMaster, brand new ProMaster on that lot.
Nice.
And we were just gonna go look at it, and then we're like, why are we just looking at it? Let's just buy it. So 3:00 in the afternoon, we already had the money in the bank. We wrote a check, paid for it in full.
Nice.
So we paid that paid cash for that. 5 other vans, no payments on it. No payments on any of them. We just paid them all off.
That's amazing.
So I don't buy expensive equipment. I don't do sewer work. I don't have to buy any sort of jetters or, expensive snakes or anything. So what we do is with our hands and with our tools in our bag. So I think that's about it.
That's awesome. I love your story, man. Thank you so much for sharing. I have one last question. Within your plumbing business, not just you, but like your staff, what do you feel your plumbing business needs a little bit more of? Do you feel like the guys can, get a little more organized as far as like getting the business organized within admin and business? Or do you feel like maybe the plumbers out in the fields can maybe do a little bit of better sales? Or where do you feel that your plumbing company could use a little bit of help with?
Yes, they can. So we use a program. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
Yeah.
It's called House Call Pro.
Yeah, I'm
Love House Call
partners.
Pro.
I'm one of the partners.
I love them. They're fucking awesome. And they're a big part of why our business grew so quick. Just they're easy to use. They're not paying me to say this, by the way. Yeah. Easy to use. Just we love them. But the guys need to get better at it. The guys training them up on that, I think, would probably be the number one thing that we can do so that they can start selling more and they can go out and fill out the invoices correctly without me having to do it. But I think them getting to know the software will help. That and vans. I'm not very good at organization. Never been. I put the vans shelving together all by myself. It works. It looks good. It's not the best. So if I had one of my guys do that, just spend a couple weeks on each van, coming up with an idea, taking it off my plate, that would probably help a lot. That would get more stock in the van, I think.
Nice.
And they wouldn't keep blaming me for, oh, I don't have this on the job site or this, you know.
Yeah, bringing it back to you now. No, that's really good, man. That's really good. I think that you're right about the plumbers needing to use House Call Pro. I'm one of their strategic partners. I met House Call Pro like 3 or 4 years ago, and you know, if any plumber listening to this, you can actually get 3 months 50% off if you mention my company and my name during the demo, right? So I hope this helps some of you guys. And then we're also like, I've been trained by them directly. I've been to their headquarters. I've had beer in their break room. I mean, we got a lot of history. And so I know how to use House Call Pro really well. And whenever somebody hires my company, what we do is we integrate Strictly Plumbers and House Call Pro, and we help you guys set it up, like the tracking of the leads, whether they're coming in from Yelp or pre-existing clients or recommendations or Google. We set it all up for you by using tags and lead sources. So that's something that if anybody listening needs a training video on that, you know, I have that kind of resources. And I think utilizing those tools, like learning how to use a pro press appropriately versus sloppy, is a big difference. Or
Greatest tool ever invented.
Yeah, right. Or soldering. Like there's a million ways to do it, or maybe a handful of ways to do it, but there's a best way to do it, right? And so if the guys can learn how to use House Call Pro even better. I wanted to end this talking about a program that I offer, and this is good for anybody listening right now. So if you guys like, getting organized is probably one of the most important things. And I think that business coaching is a total pie. So like the pie would involve a whole bunch of stuff, right? So like how to start and launch a successful plumbing business, or maybe the guys need a $1 million a month plumbing business blueprint, right? Maybe some guys are struggling on lead generation. And so I have a lot of stuff in here for lead generation. What I'm showing you is an online course that I created, and I put a training video under each one. So you can see there's a lot of marketing stuff into here, but then I get a little deeper past marketing, including like television, you know, but like an ROI formula for advertising and how to get more commercial accounts, hiring plumbers mastery, the 5 pillars of growth, how to add 300K in sales with water filtration. Like there's a lot of really, really good videos in here. I can keep going, like business management for plumbers, plumbers sales training mastery, dispatch training mastery. I went all the way down, okay, even plumbing business mastery, all the way down to how to sell your plumbing business for millions, you know, and I've been talking to a broker, so we put together some best practices. And so this is something that is not expensive. And anybody listening to this podcast know that it's only $1,000, or you can split it up in 2 payments of $550 or 4 payments of $300. This is something that I'm telling everybody about during the podcast. This is not me pitching William right now. This is for anybody listening. If you're interested in getting more organized, we can help you do that. If you're curious about that website, it's called www.plumbingbusinesscoaching.com. And that's where you can learn. I say give the login credentials to your staff. Make them watch the dispatch mastery. Make them watch the sales training mastery. Make the managers watch the plumbing business mastery and management mastery. And this is like how you can delegate training without you consuming all of your time with your staff. And this is a good fit if you do service and repair, residential and light commercial. This is not a good fit if you're like in the new construction and like, it is what it is, you know? So if anybody listening to this and wants to get more organized, and just like William here with Taylor's Plumbing did amazing, getting organized is one of his favorite things to crack his 7 figures. So let's dismiss everybody today. If you have any questions, of course, but put them in. I'm putting this on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else. So if you're watching this, no matter what platform, write a comment. Let us know some questions you may have for William. I'll give him a shout out. And William, anything else you want to touch base on before we get out of here?
Thank you for having me. It was my first interview like this in the 5 years plus of business. So I was really happy to do it. You did a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I think you did a good job too. And I think it's important that we get a platform to be heard a little bit, because you've been working your ass off for the last 5 years. You're coming up for breath right now, and life is good. And it's always good to hear and share an amazing, successful story where you started here, end up over there.
Yeah. Every time I'm like taking a walk or going shopping in the middle of the day, I'm like, damn, dude, am I really doing this? I'm not out there busting my ass, and I'm looking at Lululemon shit with my wife.
I have a line to piggyback on that and wrap it up. Whenever I'm doing some shit that like I shouldn't be, like I give you a good example. I'm so grateful about dropping off my kids at school or even picking them up. And in my head, and I even say it out loud, like, wow, I should be under a sink right now.
Yeah.
I should totally, I would have been under a sink if I would have just stayed at that company and didn't build my own.
And be in that crawl space behind me. Yeah.
Gratitude gauge is through the roof, bro. You go home happy, everything's good. So we obviously want our time back, and we're successful. And I'm so happy for you, brother. Thank you for sharing your story. This is the Strictly Plumbers Millionaire Podcast, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you.